Hello. Today I'm speaking with Volkin, a YouTuber with a healthy subscriber base who is going to tell me how he did it. Volkin specializes in gacha games. He's a qualified electrician and a good guy who says start for fun, not money, and see where you end up.
Yeah. Name's Kevin, aka Volkin. I basically content creator for playing mainly mobile games is where the main focus of my main two channels are. And then obviously dabbled a little bit in the web3 space, but taking a step back until we get some more actual games that we can dive into and test out.
Yeah, real actual games. That is a minor problem.
Yeah.
In the space. What does Volkin mean?
The name Volkin, it doesn't mean anything. It was when I was playing World of Warcraft, I used the random name generator and it came, I don't know what it actually came up with, but I changed a couple of letters and that's what it was for one of my characters. And then it just sort of stuck. And that was pretty much where it came from. It's not a very glorious story.
How long have you been playing games?
Oh, I've been playing games since forever. I remember I think I was in prep or grade 1 when my brother's friend, his dad always went to Japan for work, and he had the Pokemon games before it was out. And so I remember that's where it started. Like, 'cause we were all into Pokemon, but he had like the green version from Japan over here playing it. And we'd all sit around in the playground watching him play it. And that's where it started at the end of school. So I was close to 18 and, I remember I had a party at one of my mates' house, woke up in the morning, a bit groggy, and he was sitting on there playing WoW. And then he like showed me, make a character. And then, I like to say I invested about 7-8 years of my life into World of Warcraft. It was funny when I had my son, we brought him home and I took like 8 weeks off work. And because all he did was sleep and then want to feed, he sort of sat in the cot next to me, and I had my computer set up on the coffee table in the living room. And I'd just sit there all day just playing WoW. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this once he starts moving. So then I went back to mobile gaming, and it was actually that when my son was like a month old when I started making content around some of the mobile games that I was playing.
Was it overnight success that was like a decade in the making, or what was the story there?
No. It's just sporadic. I cover new games coming out. So if there's a big game and I'm interested in it, you get a big following. Like the game we're playing on there at the moment is Honkai Star Rail, which is a very big game. Same creators as Genshin Impact. So, I was, I think, around like 95,000 subscribers a month ago before that launch. And then, you get a massive boost depending on the game. For so long, so when I was working, because I used to be an electrician full time, I'd get up at 2:30 every morning and make videos. And while I was working full time, I was uploading 2 videos a day on that channel. And with the YouTube algorithm, if you're doing more than 3, it stops pushing them, sort of thing. So it was a bit of that paranoia. So I was like, I play other games. So I'm like, let's just put it on another channel because I don't want to go over like too many uploads.
So you were working full time as an electrician. You were uploading 2 videos a day, and you were like, this is a problem because I want to upload more.
Yeah, that was the idea. Yeah.
You must be quite an energetic person.
You can't, like I operate good on my like 5.5 to 6.5 hours sleep, and I've always been an early mornings person, so it just worked well for me. So we had our son, and in the old house, I'd turned our garage into a bedroom, so we had the nice brick walls between his room and our room. So I had a little study like that I built in the bedroom in the garage when I did it. So it wasn't too bad. There was no noise issues. The missus just slept through it. So I just got up at 2:30, went to the gym, and then I'd get back and start recording around 3:30ish, and then just before 5:30 was when I had to pack up and get going, and then I just bring the laptop on the train and edit and stuff on the train.
And have you given up being an electrician since then?
Yes, I've been doing this full time for just over 2 years, I think now, maybe 3 years.
So how's it been full time?
I don't see people anymore is the biggest thing. But yeah, the one downside I'd say to doing full-time content creation is that you don't have interactions with people as much.
Yeah, the humans fall by the wayside, which is funny because I've noticed that you actually are really interactive with your community and you're quite responsive to them.
There's a big difference between digitally communicating with people and physically for me. Like, I don't know if everyone else gets that because a lot of people are online, but like for me, I never had social media, anything like that. I grew up through MySpace, then into Facebook, all that stuff. I never had any of it because I was like, okay, the people I want to catch up with online, are in WoW, and the other people I catch up with, I just see them in real life. I don't need to look at what they're eating.
Kevin, tell me about your relationship with games. So Honkai Star Rail, I noticed that you're that's as you just said, really important for you at the moment. And I think I saw in one of your videos you said you don't play Genshin Impact. And I'm like, well, that's strange because it seems to me to be quite similar to those other games. So what for you makes a Volkin game?
The Genshin Impact, the reason for that is that game launched back when I was still working full time. I played the betas, and in the beta, I realized that this is a game, like when it launches, if I wanted to make content around it, I would have to play it a lot. And because I was working full time, I didn't have the time to commit to it, to actually cover it. So I just focused on other games.
Yeah. And your audience, are they Australian, American, Asian? Are they all over the world? What's the story?
All over. I think my highest demographic is American, depending on the channel, at about like 20, 25, 30%. But then it's just like a split around the world, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez, it's fascinating life, isn't it? I mean, you'd be hard pressed to get more difference from being an electrician in Melbourne, like hands-on in people's houses, dealing with real humans every day in their lives, and then being this globally distributed content creator.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, being globally distributed content creator isn't that hard. It's, you know what I mean? You just put stuff on YouTube and then you can give it that fancy title. But like literally I sit here and talk to a camera.
You say it's not that hard, but a lot of people would find it hard. I've watched your videos now and you've got a naturally effusive personality and you talk quite fast.
Yeah. Talking fast is, I think that's just something I picked up in front of a camera. Like, I don't think I talk that fast outside of when I'm recording videos.
Were you successful right away?
No. You get, like, on my Volkin Games channel, my earliest videos are still there.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Just starting some Might and Magic Elemental Guardians. This will be my first video.
And like, you can see, like, I recorded it on a tablet. And I used the tablet's mic and screen recording software to record my videos, and you could hear me tapping the tablet while I was talking. Like, I know like a lot of people want to be content creators and do it full time and stuff like that, but I really think you've got to look at it as a hobby, and then if it takes off, move in. I speak to a lot of people that just want to get into it and start making money. I didn't even know you could make money for like the first year I was just doing it for fun. I think people wanting to do it for a career is sort of the wrong approach. I think you just want to do it out of the enjoyment of it. And then if it grows, you assess it from then on.
So tell me about your relationship with web3 games, because I know that you were enthusiastic about Illuvium.
I still am. So Illuvium's the only, like, so when I look at the Web3 space, when I first jumped into it, it was one of my other mates that got me into it, Seaton. He sort of like introduced me into the whole Web3 gaming space. And then I dived in, touched on Axie, bought my stuff in there, sold it out a month later because it was not a game really, but it gave me the insight into what it was like. Now, I think the problem with Web3 gaming for me personally is that it's a tough market to sell to because everything has to be paid for an economy to be fully balanced. If you have a free game where free players can earn money, it's just going to go to nothing. But I compare it to trading card games. So I used to be a big Yu-Gi-Oh player as well, in like physical tournaments, stuff like that. At the moment, the only practical, like good application I see for it is digital trading cards. But at the moment, a lot of the games that are like pushing the application of it are not doing a good delivery, and it's just got a really bad reputation in general gamers. That's also why I like Illuvium, because that's the model they're going with. It's not a pack of cards you're buying. You're buying your pack of cards is essentially a travel into the world, and you get to capture those cards, the alluvials in the world. It's gamified pack opening essentially. I haven't seen anything else that makes sense yet.
I think that's a great description of the overworld in Illuvium, where you run around finding these little creatures called alluvials. Yep. One thing that I would say and ask you to respond to is that, to me, the Illuvium overworld seems very empty. It just seems like a very sort of barren world. It's beautiful.
Yep.
You are running around looking for these alluvials and capturing them through this kind of clumsy mechanic. Do you think that's a fair criticism?
I think that's fair. I also think it's a limitation brought on by the technology, because it's because I've had chats with like Aaron and Grant and Kieran, and like what they want to do versus what they can do at the moment is different. Like I know I've spoken to Aaron, they want to have like, the alluvials running around, you chase them. On the other hand, and this is where I think the experience in Illuvium really changes once it's a full launch and you're actually getting to keep the stuff, is that there is more excitement in it when you're going in there to get something that is yours. Whereas in a beta, like I never have attachments to betas in any game. Like I could play 100 hours of a beta of a game and sort of feel a bit empty in it. But then when it's the real game, even when there's no assets involved and it's just like my account in a game, it feels a lot different.
One point you made earlier, you said you can't see how the economy of a Web3 game can balance if basically free players are allowed. So could you just tease that out a bit more?
When I say free players are allowed, what I mean is free players are allowed to earn. That's where it gets complicated. I call that a financial perpetual motion machine because it's impossible, right? You can't let free players come in and play to earn. Terrible phrase, but you can't do that because who the hell is going to finance them? If you have people that can play for free, then they just bought 1 million free accounts and then they start earning all the revenue. It just, like, I don't see it working.
Now, you mentioned Axie Infinity and you said you dabbled there for a month or so. I find a lot of the games in this space, I read their white papers and I find their economies mind-bogglingly complex. Do you have that response?
Yeah, I don't read white papers anymore. This is why I stepped away from the space. Like when I first got into it, I was like really interested in learning everything because like the whole blockchain, everything was new to me. So learning it all, setting up wallets, it was just like a good experience. And then I was like, and this was like probably about over a year ago now, I sort of stepped out of the space because I was like, okay, I'm sick of reading white papers and not playing any games. So I was like, okay, I'm just ducking out. And I'll come back when there's launched games that I can experiment with. And like I've always said, like if you put money into these things, like you've got to expect it to go to nothing, which, over a bear market, a lot of them have. But like I don't even care about economic models anymore. Like I just don't. All I want to do is see a game, play a game. If I like the game, I'll play it and put money into it. And if I don't like it, I won't.
Yeah, that's a very healthy response. It is kind of exhausting.
Let's face it, every project in Web3, I don't think anyone's ever met a deadline. So I just think white papers are just fluff. I don't want to balance them based on the fact that they're Web3 games. I just want them to be good games. I think everyone was saying, was like, oh, this is good for a Web3 game. And it's like, no, it's just got to be a good game.
What games will you be covering in the future?
I really enjoy the mobile gaming space. I know a lot of people aren't into it. A lot of people look at it as like scammy, pay to win, all that stuff, which yes, it's all pay to win, but I just play everything free and have a lot of fun with it. Like I just look at it as you got that many games constantly coming out that you can play for free, enjoy them. And if you stop enjoying them, you just move on to the next one. And also the thing I like about mobile gaming is like I can take the dog for a walk and play my games. I find sitting in front of the computer now, I find it tedious because I do it now for the production side, the recording videos and all that. And I'm like, I don't want to sit at my computer all day. I hate it.
You find it fun? Is it still fun to play games?
Yeah. And that's the thing I love about mobile games is because you always get new stuff. It's always moving. There's always something new. There's always something to do. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It far out. It beats driving an hour and a half each way every day to go be a Sparky.
So where are you heading? So where is this? Is this like stretching out in front of you in a never-ending creation of videos and going to the gym and hanging around the house and doing what you're doing, or are you heading somewhere else?
No idea. I'm not the 5-year planner person. Yeah. If it stops going well, I just go back to work. It really doesn't faze me. Obviously, it'd be a bit of a bummer because this is a lot better lifestyle-wise, but what happens.
Well, yeah. An electrician is a pretty good backstop. I can't see a world in which people don't need their houses, wired up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not getting replaced by AI anytime soon.
No, not until they can make their own physical forms, and then we're into Skynet and then it's all over. Don't worry about it.
Thanks for taking the time.
I appreciate it, mate. Thanks.